Who was wrong? You go on a date with this guy that you went on a date with before. This is your second date. Things are going really, really well. Y'all vibing. Y'all having a good time. Y'all living right now, right? Boom. At the end of the day, the end of the date, the check comes. He picks up the check and he looks at the check and he says, she charged us for an extra drink. We only had 2 drinks and she charged us for 3. You say, you talk about that $3 drink? He said, yeah. And you say, it was only $3. People make mistakes. Just pay the bill. He say, nah, I'm going to sit here and wait for the waitress to come so I can tell her that this ain't supposed to be on my bill. She then goes into her pocketbook, takes out $5, puts it on the table, get up and say, I'm not about to sit here and squabble over no $3. If you mad about $3 now, what else would you be mad about later on? So she leaves. He sits there and waits till the waitress comes so he could tell the waitress, like, look, you charged us an extra drink. The waitress takes it off and he pays the bill. He goes outside looking for her, thinking she's just outside waiting for him to come on outside. And she's gone. So he calls her and was like, yo, where you at? She was like, oh, no, I went home. And he said, why did you do that? Why did you just get up and leave? She was like, well, if you want beef over $3 over something somebody made a mistake over. He was like, I wasn't beefing. I just told her that she charged me for an extra drink. And I told her, she took it off and I paid the bill. It was no problem. Yeah, but it was only $3. He then goes, you know what? You're right. I don't think this is going to work out between us. It was fun, but it stops here. She says, what are you talking about? I thought we had a good time. He was like, yeah, we did, but you just ruined it over $3. She responds, no, you ruined it over $3. Who was wrong?
No, she's wrong. When you get your cues off social media, get your cues off TikTok, and you get to feeling like these are my standards, I'm not going to beef or squabble over, $3 drink. First of all, what drink is $3? Second of all, you can flip that thing the entire other way. If you're cool with letting mistakes slide because it seems small to you, that doesn't mean, what does that mean when it comes down to your partner? If it's something that they're pretty feel like strongly about, you want to say, no, it's not important. Just overlook it. Let's keep it pushing. I think he made sense. Like, this is done. I don't want to do this. Rather than thinking that we're all psychologists and psychiatrists and we can extrapolate with a crystal ball, we can extrapolate what's going to happen in the future. The fact that, you didn't want to let this slide now means what other things are you going to be stringent upon in the future? Listen, I'll argue that you want someone that's going to be detail oriented, that believes that, no, this is right and this is wrong. If I paid for this, I'm supposed to receive this. Period. I think that goes pretty well in relationships in terms of accountability. If you want to let something slide just because you deem it as small, okay. But the fact is, we all don't operate under the auspices and guides of your own life. But before we continue, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss no uploads. I got told my sister, she actually follows the channel and she gets uploads all the time. She's like, I don't know where you find the time. So yeah, proof positive that if you check your notification bell, you can actually see that these things are getting posted. So I use this video because to highlight how we often don't really examine and see what's important to us. Rather, we take things that we heard, they sound good, and they sound like I'm setting a boundary. This is what I'm about. I don't want a man that's cheap. You can define cheap here by saying, no, why are you stressing over a $3 mistake? No, I'm stressing over being overcharged for something that I did not pay for. How that extrapolates later on probably extrapolates later on to someone that is meticulous with their finances, that likes to ensure that things are on the up and up, things are fair. That's something I would want in a partner that's looking and saying, let me make sure this is right. Hey, listen, here, I caught this mistake. Because believe it or not, people make mistakes all the time. People make mistakes with your money all the time. And if you don't care, it's not a big deal for you. Let it be a big deal for someone else. If we want to extrapolate things further or continue to extrapolate on the same vein, again, it shows that you are not really caring of what your partner cares for. If this is important to him and he doesn't see the bother, his money that he's willing to, to pay, you think throwing $5, hey, yo, I solved it, let's just go. It shows that what's important to you is important to you. That's it. You can't really compensate that with money, with resources, sometimes with sex. If this is important for him, you've got to let him rock and roll with it. You've got to give him a chance to actually solve this. His opinion has merit in your relationship as well. It just cannot be your way because you think this is a better or an easier solve. Most men get that way in relationships. They get meek, they get quiet because it's not worth, they feel like it's not worth the hassle. I felt in the past like it's not worth the hassle. I don't want to fight with you because you just can't seem to see or give me the avenue to look at the world my way. If it's not your way, it's not the way you've ever envisioned it, then you automatically throw it out. This is how men end up being shells of themselves and thinking about themselves in small and smaller increments. So again, looking ahead, trying to extrapolate, trying to use that crystal, that psychology crystal ball, and seeing something, say, you know what? Let's just stop it here. If you think, right, obviously, it's not only that you paid, you drop that down. $5, cool. You don't think this transaction is worth your time. Okay. To that effect, you've also left. To me, that signals, okay, this whole thing is over. Right? Doesn't matter how great the date was, you just up and left. Okay, I'm cool with that. I mean, I'm doing for him reaching out and saying something, I would have been fine saying, "Oh, you left? All right, great. Have you'll be good. No further, follow up necessary." If your reaction to feeling like your way is not being met or you were annoyed is to just say, "I'm going to do my own thing at my own time at my own pace." Forget the standards, forget everything else. I'm not going to be communicative. I'm going to shut down lines of communication. I'm going to go and do my own thing. How is that looking like? I don't know how, in what realm, what world it would be like he didn't dodge a bullet. Sometimes you let people tell themselves. You let people tell that their world is ruled by everything else around. And I say everything is around because it seems like it would be an obvious thing that this would be something that, you're at fault. You don't have to agree. You don't have to like the way that he's operating, the way that he's moving, the way that he's doing things. You should give him the room to do things like that. If you want to have the conversation later and say, "Hey, I didn't really think that was worth our time. We're having such a great time. We're moving from this and this." Whatever reason, you should highlight why that was so important to you. Do you operate like this in your life in general, especially if this is our second date? We're getting to know each other and you're making it seem like this is such a big line in the sand. Do you think this means that somehow he's cheap because he's meticulous and he's careful with his money? The real truth is most people that are meticulous and careful with their money end up amassing quite a bit of it. If you make sure that the small things don't slide, the small dollars here or there, you make sure you've got this budget, this is supposed to go here, this is supposed to go here. You tend to do better with your money financially in the long term. That's a byproduct of a very good thing. Well, that's the beginning stages of something very good, or that's the clue of a very good thing. Rather than come out saying, and I've seen other people, other creators come out and say, "Yeah, man, I asked him to show me his bank account, show me his W-2s." You don't have to do something so crass. You can simply watch how he is with money. People like to make inferences by the type of credit card. Oh, he used a debit card, or he used a cash app card. You can make all these silly inferences about someone else's money. Who cares? If that person is using this because it makes sense for them and in their world, in their financial world, it makes sense for them. And if they are doing better than you, if you had the opportunity to sit down and say, "Oh, why'd you use that debit card?" But if you didn't know about his portfolio, if you didn't know about everything else he has going on for you and how that person literally could have changed your financial outlook and financial life, you might go back and call yourself an idiot because it didn't fit your worldview, your purview. I think it's supposed to look like this. It's supposed to go this way. And when it doesn't, Harry, I'm throwing a fit. This is just more. This is like you don't know what you don't know because a lot of us are kind of ignorant about the financial game. And then when that spills over to our relationships and we think X, that 1 plus 1 equals 2, right? Or better yet, 1 plus 3 equals 4, but 2 plus 2 also equals 4. We can get to the same way. We can get to the same answer just different ways. But when people do this, and people are very often like to take these little shortcuts, and they think when a man does this, or this is how you know a man really cares about you, you're taking a very small slither of experience and thinking this how means everything for men. Unfortunately, as much as we like to say men are simple, sometimes you get it wrong. If you think I'm wrong on this, you know, that's possible. Let me know down in the comments. If you see videos on your screen right now, take a look at those. Let me know your thoughts about those in those videos. And of course, if you listen to sound my voice now, you have not subscribed, I think you should. We're building something dope over here. I'll see you in the next one.